Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first of 5 community engagement meetings. We have one that you're at now, and you always worry when you have something whether everybody's going to show up. So thank you all very much for taking time out of your day to be here with us. We have one tonight at 7 o'clock. We have one Saturday morning. We have one Monday morning and one Monday evening. And I, unfortunately, if you go to more of them, will be your host for each and every one of them. My name is Stockton Reeves. I'm the Executive Director of the Center for Public Safety. I do not work for the Broward County Sheriff's Office. I do not work for the City of Deerfield Beach. What I call constituents. One would be your elected officials, your decision makers. 2 would be your city of folks. And the third most important leg of that would be you all, the public. That way, with this report, you all will have a data-driven process to make decisions on what you all want to do for your future relative to your public safety services. I don't have a dog in the hunt. I don't live in Broward County. I live in Orange County in Winter Park, Florida. So what you all do is totally up to you all. I'm just here to provide a service. I think I said that pretty clearly, right? Okay. So we're going to have a little bit of a presentation here. There's a lot of opportunity in the course of this presentation for you all to ask questions and be participatory in this process. I'm here for 6 days. So if you want to be here for 5 hours, I will be here for 5 hours. If you are going to keep me here for 5 hours, you're going to have to buy me lunch. So, fair? Okay. I do not. The older I get, the less I eat. My wife loves it. So just some brief guidelines as we go through this. Just ask everybody to listen with respect. Let others finish before speaking. Let's focus on your concerns, your facts. Don't talk about what somebody else said. And every voice matters. Okay? Now, up until this point, the city has received 1,602 questionnaires from people in this community about what they want, what they believe, what are they concerned about, what's important to them, what do they want to see. So we're going to build on that. Your top concerns in the surveys that we have received before are issues about the timeline. If you are going to do a course of action, how long is it going to take? How's it going to be phased? Is there going to be service continuity? What is the process? What is the accountability in the process? And what is the financial transparency? The one thing that I have been consistent in my life since I was about 12 was, is it fair? Is it equitable? And is it transparent? And that's how I run my life and my business, and that's why I've been with my wife for 42 years. Right?
Wow, nice.
I'm not really that old, I just moisturize. Our message to you is we're going to focus on facts. Everything will be data driven. It's not about politics. You all want to know about the relocation of funds. There's been a lot of don't raise our taxes, voice and decisions in community-oriented approaches. So that's our overall approach to this whole process. Now, the current financial reality, and we are digging into this along with the city manager and the finance department and Director Gladier with the Public Safety Office. The current contract with BSO is $35.7 million. The current fire contract is $39.5, so that's a total cost of $75.2 in next year's fiscal year 26. We are going to be looking at fiscal years down the road to try to understand what are those public safety services going to cost the taxpayers as we move forward. Yes, sir.
I can't hear you.
It's not. The mic is on in the next room. I'll just have to project a little louder. But sir, I will tell you, there's plenty of seats up front if you want to come up front.
Yes.
Turn up to here.
So the only reason I have to be up here is because I have to manually move the slides. I'm an MBA, which means I don't know anything about tech. So what we're going to try to do is look at the finances going forward, and how's that going to affect you all as taxpayers. And we're going to we're not going to make any determination as to whether this is in Deerfield's best interest or not. We're just going to lay out the information and let you all make the decisions. So we've identified the indirect and the countywide, And the direct services are usually the ones that you all see the most, right? BSO trucks, cars, fire trucks, EMS vehicles. So relative to public safety, it's the patrol, the people out there on the streets, the investigations, which will be called CID, or you all call detectives, school resource officers, fire, and emergency medical services. Those are the most direct. The indirect ones that you all don't see, but you do pay for, are the human resources and finance, the information technology, the fleet. They have to maintain the vehicles and all the apparatus. The training, critically important, don't ever cut training. And records management. And then there are the countywide services that even if you weren't a contract city, BSO and BSO Fire would provide. And those are the 911 dispatch, which is done by the county, SWAT and the crime lab, specialized units, aviation, and marine. Now, the transition time, we're identifying 4 phases if the city chooses a course of action to go their own way. Phase 1 is the revised staffing study. We did a staffing study for Deerfield earlier this year, but you have to understand it was a different type of study. That study earlier this year was predicated on giving Deerfield Beach an understanding of what our belief that BSO should be providing people currently and in the future. And so the city's goal with that study was to ensure that when working with BSO, that they were getting the people they needed to focus clearly on Deerfield Beach. It has now changed. The study, as we were told, is Deerfield wants to consider the possibility, the potentiality of providing their own public safety services. And so they want to know what would that be in terms of people, in terms of costs, in terms of everything from the uniforms somebody wears, the bunker gear that the firefighters would have to have, to the trucks, the apparatus, do you buy the vehicles, do you lease them, etc. Phase 2 is when our study is done, should the city decide to pursue one course of action, then you're going to have to think about how are you going to recruit and staff these services, where are these people going to come from? How are you going to address your facilities? Are the facilities going to be adequate to handle the needs, not only for today, but 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the future? When we do space needs studies, we are always looking down the future because things change, technology change, community policing changes. So those things have to be built into the built environment. You have to be prepared for those things. Phase 3 is training. You've got these new folks, you want to bring them up to speed. You want to make sure they are trained. They have the technology that they need. Technology today is body-worn cameras, laptops in the cars, the use of artificial intelligence, drones, and other things. And I can tell you right now, I don't know what technology is going to be tomorrow. But you have to plan for those things, and I'll give you one quick thing. The city of Sanford, Florida has, in my mind, the single best technology plan for training, bar none, not only in the state of Florida, but in the country. 5 years ago, they had a room half this size that was just for virtual training. They had all the equipment lined up against the wall. They had all the boards where you could stand there and project on whether you were at a school or you were in an apartment or a bank. They had all the headsets and all the equipment that was tied with wires back to that thing. It's all gone. Now, that same room, they have an equipment that fits into a suitcase that you could put into an overhead compartment on a plane. And 5 wireless headsets where there are no screens anymore, you're seeing it right there in your headset. And the nice thing about it is, in terms of training, in the days of old, you'd have to send people out to learn how to do a de-escalation, how to deal with, say, 30 people at 2 o'clock in the morning who are from Haiti and don't speak English, and there's an incident. You have to train for these things, right? Now, with this new equipment, Sanford needs to do a new training module. You know what they do? They upload the app. And 3 minutes later, they're ready to go. So, I mean, that has been a wholesale sea change. It's a paradigm shift just in training alone. And then in the 4th phase, BSO is going to provide services to you all under a contract for, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, up to 2 years. Where is Sean? Wave your hand, Sean.
Yeah.
Is it another up to 2 years? Yeah. Oh, I see you. He's back there by the coffee, smart guy. So there will be, if you decide to, a gradual handoff, and eventually full independence, potentially. We're not going to make a recommendation either way. So the one thing that we're going to be working with the city to ensure is that there's no gap in coverage for law enforcement or EMS or fire services. That's been a mandate from our city elected officials. Is that correct, Commissioner? And so we want to make sure that BSO continues at the current levels. Your new departments, if you choose to do so, will be ready to go from day one. I must be very lucky. There's a ladybug on the top of my laptop. That you do have mutual aid backup agreements, and that there are regular public updates that the city will be doing to keep you all as citizens informed. Financial transparency, the message that we received from the questionnaires and the previous data was very clear. It's about reallocating existing funds. There was a lot of discussion about not raising taxes, and the city's commitment, as Sean alluded to earlier, that they're not going to be looking at what it's going to cost next year, but 5 years, 10 years down the line, what are those costs going to be? Holistically looking at those costs, right? Detailed line item budgets. You're going to have to identify a one-time versus an ongoing cost. I'll give you an example. If you were to build a building, build it next year, but uniforms, vehicles, technology, those are ongoing costs because they have to be updated. And then public access to all financial data. The fiscal reality suggests at this point that the costs that you all will have to pay to maintain these services will be okay for the next year or two, but after that, it's going to outpace the city's revenues. And so that's going to be a real driver. And you're going to have to make decisions as to how you want to do that, how are you going to pay for it. Now, these are a series of slides where I want to give you all an opportunity to participate if you should choose for things that are on cap.
So, and every
When you sign a contract, you have to live up to it. If you don't live up to it, I don't know about you as a businessman, but I stopped doing business with people that didn't live up to their contract. Why? Let's assume we do negotiate. We have a contract that says he can raise rates 5% a year. He wants unlimited. What guarantee do we have that this person who broke his word by saying, I'm not honoring 5%, I want more. You're either going to give me more or we're going to stop giving you service in 2 years. Do we want to do business with that kind of person?
Yes.
Will he put a bond up for $50 million saying, if I break my contract again, the city's covered? No. What guarantee do you have he won't do it next year? Or the year after? Or the year after that? If you don't have a guarantee, we got nothing.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I know people, everybody in this room has an opinion. Everybody in this room has thoughts and feelings about this. I would like us, if we could, we have different slides where you can speak on, if we could stick to some of these topics, and so you all can share with me, address me.
And I'm your candidate.
It just, yes ma'am.
I'm gonna try to stick to the slide. I just want to address his question.
No, we can't
his
address
answer.
anybody else's.
Okay.
I just want to know how you feel.
Okay, well, I feel right now, because I think a lot of stuff is going on right now with city manager, the commissioner, the mayor, and it's almost like we as residents is paying the price for whatever's going on with them, the relationship. Mm-hmm. And we as residents should not pay the price. You say about you on a fixed income, not only Central Village, I'm on a fixed income, District 2, everybody I'm quite sure is fixed income, okay? My concern is because we visited this a long time ago when Mayor Robb was in there, and I was a very good, real supporter of Mayor Robb. They didn't want to do it now, so why now? And you said that the proposal that the sheriff gave, we don't know about no proposal. What proposal? How do you know? Who told you about the proposal? That's my question. Okay, we don't know any proposal. My understanding that there was no such meeting really, and we have to come together. And even the residents have to be in there when they're negotiating, the sheriff and whoever's gonna be in there with the city manager, the manager, whoever's gonna be, we need to be in there to hear what's going on.
Yeah, I was there.
Because it's here, okay, you was there while nobody else was there.
No, it was a
This is a
public
lot of hearsay going on, okay?
Off topic. It was a public meeting.
We get back to the point.
Guys, I'm not here last word. I'm a current law enforcement officer. I'm not gonna say what city I work for. It's a private. That's my personal. But anyhow, we still use BSO for a lot of resources, and I do feel safe having BSO. And I just wanna let you know that if we do go to our own, you gotta remember, we're gonna be using them for resources, because my city does it all the time where I work right now. And again, I'm not gonna mention that name, but I'm a police officer currently.
I'll pay you my money.
Yes, sir.
I just want to actually answer the question.
Okay.
All right,
I appreciate that, thank you.
All right, let's get back to the question, which is what you originally asked.
Right.
I think in a way that's a loaded question, because it's putting the men and women that I thoroughly respect and stand behind what they do when they put on their uniforms each and every day.
Yeah.
But to base it on how do we feel about them, I'll tell you right now, I feel great with them. But this doesn't have to do with them.
Right.
They're serving the public in a way that most people won't. They go in when others run. So what influences a feeling? It has nothing to do, and I don't want to see these men and women that are on our streets taking care of us, whether it's for a short term or a long term, to feel any less than the respect that they deserve.
True. Yes. Well said.
Just to that point, I've alluded to that I've worked with these types of folks for 36 years. If I didn't have the utmost respect for people in public safety, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, because I love it, okay? So my job is not to make any
It
kind
wasn't
of,
anything about the job, it had to
Right.
do with the question and putting,
Well, the question
how
is-
do we feel? It's about the men and women that are here.
well, it's not about the men and women. It's about the services that you get. How do you feel safe in your home, in your neighborhood? It's kind
Because
of
of the
like.
men and women,
Okay.
obviously,
Well, that
yes,
answers
but
the
the
question.
question has, the overall thing has nothing to do directly with these men and
No,
women
it
that
doesn't.
serve faithfully and
I'm just trying to
nobly.
get a sense of the community.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a few comments.
You gonna stick to that?
Oh, I'm gonna stick right to it.
Excellent.
So, a very different perspective. I'm a business owner in the city of Deerfield. I own Meisner Marina. Been in business since the 70s, but now it's new ownership the past 4 years. So, I have a very unique experience. We actually had a fire 3 months ago.
Okay.
3 minutes after 911 was called, BSO showed up. 7 minutes later, the fire was fully extinguished.
Yeah.
Okay? The next day, I came in to check on the marina after 3 boats exploded from that fire. It was still smoldering. Put a call into BSO. 11 minutes later, the smoldering was out. As far as safety goes, something completely outside of the fire department, but the police department. We are in College Park. 25 years ago, I would not walk around College Park. 15 years ago, it was not safe to walk. They had a barricade to stop the drug dealers in College Park. In the past 5 years, College Park has seen a precipitous drop in crime. There's only one small pocket that's really identifiable where we still have an ongoing issue. That's the park right there. I think it's John McKeithen Park. It seems to be a recurring issue. So overall, my experience with BSO, which I guess encompasses the police and the fire departments in one, has been phenomenal. I can't comment on the financial aspect of it. But answering the question on the board,
You feel good?
I feel great, we feel safer. It's been a wonderful experience all around.
Okay.
I live in Century Village, and of course, gossip goes around. I don't think I need it.
Yeah, you do. Can't
I
hear
do,
you.
okay, and I can talk louder.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have never heard anybody concerned about their safety. We can go shopping, we can go out at night, and I have never seen anybody scared or mention that to anybody that has come to me. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna just move on to the next slide, because we need to do that, but I will come back to you. And you. So accountability and control. How important to you is local accountability? Do you feel you have accountability now? Do you feel you would have accountability under a different circumstance? Does the reporting structure matter? Direct access to people in the chain of command, does that matter to you all?
100%.
Yes, ma'am. Did you want to have?
It was the other slide.
Okay. Anybody want to comment on this?
How important is local accountability? I think local accountability is extremely important, and I feel as if we're getting the absolute best local accountability because these people who have been operating for us in fire safety, police, the whole 9 yards, have treated us locally. They give us the local attention, they have put things in place for us that didn't exist under our self-management that have helped us locally. Does reporting structure matter? Absolutely. I am very concerned about a professional organization with professional people, high level. I consider every firefighter, police person, fire and rescue, they are professional people. They need to be with a reporting structure that understands their business and cares about them and can fight and help for what they need to make them be the best they can be. So reporting structure to me under a local government, I saw that, I went to commission meetings, and I saw what that meant. And it meant, what's your city manager think about, oh, what's my raise gonna be if I keep them on board here, or anybody else that worked here, because I'm gonna have more employees. Is that really what we should be deciding when we think about the safety of our people? And the reporting structure, the value of direct access to the chief, we have had direct access to be able to see and speak to the area chief for Deerfield Beach. He's not the head of,
No, but for Deerfield Beach.
but for Deerfield Beach. Tremendous access. And when I say tremendous, if something comes across that needs to be handled, it is handled. And it's not wasted time. So I agree with that gentleman. A lot of things happen very, very quick.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, it may seem irrelevant to some people, I understand that. First of all, I want you to know that I ran for commissioner and mayor in this town, so I'm really concerned about what goes on. But I may not know financial stuff. When we're told that this meeting is in District 4 and it's in District 3, this building, that makes me concerned about local accountability of our board. When the flag isn't put down for 9/11, that also concerns me about the person who wants to be in charge of the police and firemen.
By the way, I didn't set the meeting, so. Okay. That's all right.
I was gonna keep quiet, but it's my idea. So say something. I think everyone here are pleased with the service that we have received. My only experience that I have is with the sheriff department. And they have step up. I live in Waterway, District 4, don't hold that against me. And we were concerned about the speed of the vehicle getting off Sawgrass, right at the intersection of Waterway and 10th Street.
And that's near where you live, right?
Yeah, and we had a few accidents, one happened to be fatal. And they actually step up and work with the homeowner association in trying to slow down the traffic getting off Sawgrass. They enforce the speed limit, and put up railroad message sign telling people to slow down. So I'm pleased with the service that we receive under the current contract. I have another question though, since everybody. Can you clarify a few slides back about indirect cost for one item? Fleet. If Deerfield Beach choose to, I guess it's bring it back in-house, does that mean Deerfield Beach have to purchase new fire truck?
Yeah, that is an interesting question. We own all the fire trucks. We own the fire. I believe you own the apparatus. And the fire station. And the buildings.
I'd like to add to that, I'd also like to know about the aviation units, drug enforcement aviation units.
I can see from your shirt that would be a concern.
Thank you.
So if you brought it all back in, those are costs that will be built into the budget. And if you're dealing with, I'll just make it easy, with the fire department, you're gonna end up dealing with apparatus. Apparatus needs to be replaced over time. The bunker gear, the turnout gear needs to be replaced, the scuba needs to be replaced. So those are ongoing costs. We're gonna be working with Sean and try to figure out what those costs are gonna be. We are gathering data from at least 10 other communities on what their current costs are, what their escalated costs are, what their anticipated rise in the costs are. And I'm doing that with other communities across the country, like Laredo, Texas, Unalaska, Wisconsin, Woodstock.
Can I ask you a follow-up
Yes,
question on that? If
absolutely.
we don't have those numbers, how are we initiating a transition?
We are gathering those numbers and saying, look, if you have fixed wing, if you have a helicopter, this is what it's gonna cost if you buy it new. This is what it's gonna cost to maintain and operate that. This is what the cost of the, whatever it is, whether it's the runway, the hangar, the tarmac, the people, everything. We're gonna be digging down and doing those kinds of cost analysis to have that. And to your point, sir, when you talked earlier about buildings, I can just tell you from my brother and my father having an architecture firm, when you build a building, that's 10 cents on the dollar on what you're going to spend on that building over that building's life cycle. If that building lasts 30 years, and the one thing that makes public safety facilities so expensive is, unlike a community center or a library or a city hall, where they're in operation 8, 9, 10 hours a day, public safety facilities are in operation 24/7. So the reality, when you look at facilities, you have to understand that if you build a brand new fire station today, at the end of the year, that building and all of its systems, water, power, sanitary, and sewer, are effectively 3 years old.
We're already doing that now.
Yeah.
Either way,
But
we're
I'm just
already
saying
doing
that
it.
it's,
Whether what the label on it is, doesn't take away the fact that we're already doing it. If we own the building, we own the fleet, we have to
Right.
maintain them and buy new. So either way, we're paying for that. So you're putting something out there that seems like, well, if we change, we gotta do all new buildings. We already have
I never
them.
said that.
And we have to maintain them no matter what, at
Right.
our cost, our tax
Correct.
dollars. So let's just be clear about that,
It's,
please.
if you do anything and you do there are some, it's my understanding that having done some of the staffing analysis for the fire stations earlier this year, that if Deerfield chooses to go its own way, there may be some facility needs in the fire side.
There's gonna be
When
either
will we
way.
have the cost? When will we have the cost?
We're
it's
working
gonna
on
affect
that.
them. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
we having all these meetings, but when are we gonna have the cost? I think this needs to be put on the ballot. We as residents should be the one to vote on that and not the commissioner and the mayor.
That's totally up
Yes.
to you all. I think, Sean, we're gonna be done in, what, 2 months, 3 months at the tops with all of our information. Does anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm just asking, what will be the initial cost for us? Because we will have to start with rent
Yep.
and office equipment, computers, radio, parking space, right away. We also, let me see, I have a list. Sorry. No, okay.
We're working on that.
You're working on that. What I'm trying to say is, are we going to have the starting cost to go our own way?
Yes. Your decision, when it's made by whoever makes it,
Okay.
is not gonna be made until we understand every one of those costs. And they're gonna be line item costs. So you're gonna know what that holster costs, what
Okay.
that hose costs. And it's gonna be a holistic approach, and it's gonna say, here's the number, and here's how it breaks down. Yes, sir. You got it.
I just want to clarify, I don't know if I heard you correct. You said you'll have these numbers in 2.5 months?
We're working on it right now.
So they won't be ready next month?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it's clear, 'cause I thought.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, I decide I'm gonna move to Los Angeles Boulevard, maybe I should know how much it costs before I pack up.
So the gentleman's question was, he came hoping to hear costs. And I will tell you that we were directed to get into this process, and this is not going to be just the 5 meetings. Commissioner, you all have said there's going to be an ongoing communication process throughout this whole thing because you all want to be very clear, very transparent about this. So these meetings, these 5 meetings are not about the financial costs. These meetings are not about the final decision. These meetings are to allow us to hear from you all what's important to you. So we are in the beginning process of trying to gather all this data. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm concerned, and I came to this is not my district, and I will be at my district meeting. My concern is that we're leaving citizens down the street that we have no business to be on at this particular time. Because I know for a fact that constitutionally, if the sheriff, if Deerfield decides to go with its own department, constitutionally, the sheriff must continue to provide certain services to the city of Deerfield Beach.
Correct.
Period.
That was on
And
that slide.
everybody is here thinking one way, that if we do this or whatever, we're gonna be left out there. What are those services that he
I'll
will
go
be?
back.
Yeah,
Good
you know,
question.
and let the people know.
Good question.
Good question.
So let's go back a slide, and I will show you some of those things that the sheriff's going to, you have interlocal agreements, right? And those interlocal agreements are going to be in place regardless. So if you look on the bottom, ma'am, those countywide services,
Yeah, keep them. We keep them no matter
We gotta
what.
pay for it.
Yeah.
We might be paying more. How do you know?
okay, see the bottom. Those are services you get whether you're a contract city, whether you're not a contract city, whether you're in an unincorporated county. If you are in Broward County, you get those services. You have to.
No, he's had a turn already. Let's go with somebody who
You have
doesn't
to
have a
address
turn.
me, and we're gonna go back to that slide. Because Commissioner, I know you're very well versed on a lot of this. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
We happen to have the best police chief in all of Broward County and out of Austin.
Absolutely.
Well, we had a good
He
one
is
too.
absolutely
Smackenberg.
available. I've reached out to him and always get a response.
Too bad the commission.
Here's the problem. We had one before him by the name of Snackenberg,
And he was good. And he was good.
and he was very good. And what happened to him? The sheriff decided to move him.
Promoted him. Promotion. Sit down. Sit down. He's right there.
Hold
Sit
on,
down.
let me finish, please. We are at the mercy of the Broward County Sheriff as to who our police chief is. And they can be promoted, they can be moved. The deputy was moved to Oakland Park. Snackenberg was moved to headquarters, then promoted, and is in charge of investigations.
Not true.
But
But what's the point?
Yeah,
What's the point?
that's
What's
what
your point?
Snackenberg told me.
Let's get this back. Hold on. I want to be very clear. This is not a discussion about the people that are working there or the organizations or what's been done in the past. I have been charged by the city to gather data, to get information, to hear from you all how you feel about certain things if they decide to move forward. And again, I don't have a dog in the hunt. I don't care either way how you all do this. My job is just to present data and give you all the information you need to potentially, purportedly, supposedly, make a decision down the road when that time comes. That time will only come, correct me if I'm right, Commissioner, when you all have all of the data that you all need to make that decision. Does anybody have a question about a slide that's currently behind me?
Reporting structure, I do have a question.
Okay.
As far as I understand it today, everybody in Broward County gets to vote for sheriff.
Yes.
Am I correct? Yes. Okay. So we have all the people of Broward County, some on their own, they're all getting those commonalities that you pointed out, and we have some that run private in Broward County. They are self-managed in terms of police and fire. So the value, it kind of encompasses all three, is if I have a voice to vote for who's sheriff, I believe I lose that voice if it goes private. Because who votes for what and who is going to be sheriff? Is it going to be me? I'm not going to have anything to say about it. It's going to be the commission. And that's fine if you know, right now, I guess I want to make sure I understand I lose all of those votes. And now I face the commission on it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So the question is, as a resident of Broward County, you have a voice who is the sheriff.
Right.
That is correct. And you can vote the sheriff in, you can vote the sheriff out, you can vote for somebody else. When you have a municipal police department and a municipal fire department, dependent upon what your governing structure is, whether it's a council mayor, whether it's a city manager, whatever the structure is, you elect a mayor and you elect the members who sit on your dais. So that gives you, it depends, and correct me if I'm wrong, in Deerfield Beach, do you only vote for your commissioner, or do you vote for all the commissioners?
All commissioners and the mayor.
Mayor and our district commissioners.
Okay, so you have an opportunity now, dealing with public safety, to vote for a mayor and the commissioner that represents you. So you have two people now that you elect that have a direct influence on your public safety services.
I would like to say that responsibility is spread. You're electing a mayor for a lot of different reasons other than public safety, although public safety is one of the first priorities. It's not the only reason you're going to elect somebody. When you're electing a police chief or I'm sorry,
We have 6 elected
Yeah.
police chiefs in Florida.
yeah. Well, when you're electing the BSO, sheriff, that's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Yeah. When you're electing the sheriff, that's a different story.
Unless you're appointed.
I'm not going to go into any more election because it's really not on the slide. Yes, sir. And you're going to be the last one I take on this.
The
Well,
slide.
that's
Yes.
accountability.
It's about accountability
That's
and control.
Right.
Okay? The accountability is not you. The control is not you.
That's correct.
Where is our city commission? If this idea is going forward, I want to know how it started and where it started. Did we have a house that burned down, a building that burned down? The fire department didn't do their job? Did we have a shooting or something by BSO where somebody was shot and the liability is going through the roof because of what the BSO did? I think we get pretty goddamn good service from the Broward Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
And why? I want to know, for accountability and control, how did this get started?
Sheriff terminated the contract.
He didn't terminate the contract. The contract was over.
Gentlemen,
Gentlemen, not terminated.
I thought I had the floor.
gentlemen,
Yeah, Joe. So, accountability. Where's our city commission? Where's our mayor? I want to hear from the mayor and the city commission why this is in progress. How did it start?
sir, I would respectfully say, I don't know the answer to that, okay? I
You're
have
not
a
doing
job
us
to
much
do.
good then.
This is an information gathering process. I would suggest to
Well,
you,
take my question back, and maybe by 7 o'clock tonight, you could have an answer for that.
okay? I would further add this. I can tell that this means a lot to you. I can tell that you have some deep-seated feelings about this. I would encourage you to go to your city commission meetings. There are opportunities at every city commission meeting for the public to have involvement.
Hey, my wife was the mayor of this city. I go to every commission meeting.
Okay, I didn't know that. So I was just going on the assumption that I was trying to offer something to help.
And his son's the union rep.
And we just speak out to get retaliated against.
Can we go back to finance, please?
Do you have a question about finance?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we going to include, the monies that we have to pay for attorney fees? Because in this place, everybody sues everybody. And then,
That's called America.
and then a city would be responsible for 4 million, 5 million, whatever. Is that going to be taken into account attorney fees?
My responsibility, what my firm has been charged for, does not deal with attorney's fees.
Okay.
Okay? It's an unfortunate fact of life that we live in a very litigious society. It just is what it is. But priorities. So these are the things that we heard from you all earlier, that you want high visibility, that you want community engagement, you feel like you have this. I'm hearing that echoed by what you all are telling me. Response times are important, particularly if you're having a marina and you have a fire. That crime prevention, those things that you feel can be done preemptively. Was it, and I'm probably going to mess this up, wasn't it Ben Franklin that said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure? So one of the reasons why there's high visibility on law enforcement is to make sure that anybody that wants to cause a problem realizes that law enforcement's out there. So that's some of the things we have heard from you all. This is about an esoteric thing, culture, values, and leadership. When you think about public safety in the future, and I don't want you to think about the sheriff's office, and I don't want you to think about public safety as Deerfield Beach public safety. I want you to think about public safety in its esoteric form. What matters most to you all, and I would really hope, please, don't make me the bad guy and take the mic away from you. Stick to the slide, be very concise. If you want to comment on it, on what you feel relative to this slide, because you're not talking to everybody in the crowd, you're talking to me to inform me about what we're going to put in our report. Would anybody like to comment on what's on the slide? Yes, sir.
Let's just say, I watch a lot of city commission meetings, I know who this guy is.
Because you're talking now about accountability and transparency, I think what I'm about to say is appropriate, but I think it's also important that I correct a couple of the factual errors that you said in your presentation.
Feel free, Dan.
So I want to go ahead and do that. First of all, I just want everybody to know that a week ago tonight, the executive director of the Broward Sheriff's Office gave a presentation as to why they were forced to cancel the contract with Deerfield Beach. And if you,
Dan, please stick to the slide.
Okay, but I just wanted to know that for factual information. So first of all, Mr. Reeves, you said earlier that
just the slide, please. We can talk about it afterwards.
This is about accountability.
Okay.
Okay, and you said that there was a study done earlier this year that you performed. Okay, I have this report right here. The date on that report was July 12, 2024. And that's when you finished the report. So that means you started the report early in 2024. It would be very helpful if you told everybody in more detail why you did the report, who ordered the report, and you could even tell the conclusions. So that's the first thing. The second slide that you had an error is when you put up the cost for police and fire, you put up the cost for police from the letter dated May 1st, 2025. Maybe the city didn't give you the most current letter, but I have it right here. And the most current letter has a cost for police of over $900,000 less. And that wasn't even the last proposal. So please give out factual information. Now, I have one more thing that I want to talk about, because we're talking about accountability and transparency. So it's very important to know that I don't even know why you're doing the study, because the Sean Gladio said the following: While consultants are preparing a cost analysis for going local, this week Gladio said he has run his own figures. Quote, I can tell you it will cost us no more than the city is now paying BSO for police and fire personnel. So I hope he's giving you his numbers. It could save you hours and hours of time.
Bravo, bravo.
Thank you. First of all, in that study that we did earlier, I don't know if you had come in earlier, the previous staffing study that we did was solely on staffing. And it was solely, we responded to the city, we put a proposal in, we were a selected firm. That study was solely to look at current public safety staffing. And it was the intent for the city to use that staffing study to ensure that the city was getting adequate staffing in all of those different areas, whether it was police, fire, law enforcement, fire, EMS. That was the purpose of that study. Subsequently, we have been retained by the city to do a different study. And this is a study that looks at the potential of the city providing their own services. They're two completely different topics.
What was the results of the first study?
The problem is, I would have to go back and look at it again, but I don't think anything glaring stood out to me. It wasn't like you were understaffed by.
I have it right here. I'll show you after the meeting.
I can email it to you.
I don't need an email. Tell me about the study was.
I would be remiss. I can't quote it because I do a lot of stuff. But I can tell you that I thought it was pretty good.
Dan has it. Let him tell it.
Yeah.
Can we get back to?
Yes, we can.
Because otherwise we're gonna have to buy you lunch.
Yeah.
I do like barbecue.
We do it anyway.
Is there any other
We're wasting our
concerns?
time now.
And again, we are not here to bash anybody. Yes, ma'am. On the slide, address me, please.
Thank you. So I think we've been hearing a number of things. We're hearing that people generally are satisfied with the level and quality of service. We're hearing an overall concern about the factors that are involved in shifting from a county-wide system to a locally managed system.
Correct.
And we don't have the basis of understanding what those factors are, how they're being examined, what they'll cost. We're not getting the opportunity to see them being compared side by side. If you stay with the county, in addition to those mandated services that you will always have, you're getting these other things. These things will remain in effect. They will cost you this. Whereas if you shift to locally managed fire and police, you're going to incur these additional costs over these particular factors, and they're going to likely cost you these kinds of things. And then there are other considerations beyond cost. But right now, we have no level playing field. We have no basis of being able to knowledgeably comment on this. Asking us how satisfied we are really moves the needle not at all. So I think the questions that you're asking are not the questions that will get you the information that you want. And, you should be giving us an opportunity to say, we want to be able to know these kinds of things.
Right.
Come back and tell us
Right.
that.
I believe we will be, when we get further down this process, I believe that we're going to be brought back to present you that data that you want and to share with you, but that's going to be a little bit down the road a little bit. Yes, ma'am.
But what will reassure us now is to know that you are addressing those kinds of things.
Oh, that's what we were hired to do.
Okay, but that's what would be useful for us to see on
Yes,
your
ma'am.
slides.
I understand that, but we're in the information gathering process.
And we want to
So-
know the information you're gathering.
It's coming from us, right?
Well, it is and it isn't. When I say it isn't, it is because we're also looking at about 10 other Florida cities, their budgets, their departments, what are they paying for this? What are they paying for people, for apparatus, for equipment, for training? What are those costs, both direct costs and indirect costs and ongoing costs? So we're trying to learn how everybody else is doing it so we can use that as a benchmark to compare about what it may potentially cost you in the future.
And we want you to do that.
And we are doing
want to
that.
know that you are doing that.
We are doing that.
And seeing that on a slide so it stays.
You will
solid.
probably see that in the future.
Okay.
I'd like to know a little bit more about the community services that the city would intend to provide, similar to BSO, like BSO Cares, Social Justice Task Force, things like car seat safety checks, all the little things that BSO does. Would the city be able to handle all that? I mean, there is mental health training, there's mental health resources that are totally apart from the police services.
What is it going to take in terms of the allocation of personnel? If the city believes that maybe they need people that could be more of the social services, that will be out on ride-alongs, or if they'll do this, we're going to examine all that as well. Yes, sir.
So since you've been doing this for many, many years, and you're talking about 10 different police
at least 10
areas that you're gathering information from, so obviously you have a lot of historical data that you could fall back on. And I think one of the things that would really help everybody to better understand this is to put a slide up, historical data. So over the time of, let's say you did 25, and what was the cost to the people? Did you see a decrease in your taxes? Did your taxes go up? What was the level of service? I think having those types of things would really make this whole presentation much, much easier and palatable to everybody.
That will be in a future presentation.
But it's not helping right now. That's the
No,
problem.
it's
You
not.
have the historical data. It's sitting on somebody's computer right now that you could process.
For the studies, are you allowed to say what cities, or are you, that you guys are comparing to, or to do your studies, or are you using South Florida agencies? I don't know if you're allowed to speak.
I think the cities that we've identified are all in South Florida. Most of them are coastal, and most of them have similar demographics and populations. And the other thing that we're looking at is, you're a coastal community. So your daytime population is going to be different than your nighttime population, because the beach is going to draw people are going to come here to shop. So we're trying to get all of those factors to play into it. And it's a finite pool of cities and communities out there that have similar populations. They're coastal, these are the demographics, the income levels, the education levels, the socioeconomic levels, all of that comes into play. I've heard from you 18 times.
I know.
She has good questions.
She has good questions. She does.
I would just like to know that, are you checking the crime stats in all these areas? Because that has a lot to do with how you define population.
Yeah, we do look at uniform crime rates. We do look at, I think the battery's going on this. Maybe not. We do look at the crime. We do look at trends. We do look at what the calls for service are. Because as I alluded to earlier with somebody I talked to, we're doing some work up in Lady Lake. They're surrounded on 3 sides by the villages. So they have a whole big calls for services, more EMS than it is law enforcement. So we're looking at all those things. And we're working, BSO and the county are providing us the call data. What is the volume of calls? What's the type of calls? What are the category of calls? So we're going to analyze those as well.
I'd just like to know how can we put together numbers when we're talking about a contract proposal that is uncapped. If it's uncapped, it's unknown. Right? And I just want to point out, we love our guys.
Are you saying this, or do you actually know this? He's making it up.
Yeah.
No, as a matter of fact,
you have that in writing?
no. There was a vote in the past 4 weeks in the city of Deerfield Beach.
Where's it in writing? Show me that online.
I can show you through online.
He's making it up.
But, okay, you can say that, that's fine. But here's the deal. We had a motion.
Show me online.
We're off topic again.
We almost, there was a proposal, a proposal made by a commissioner, and it was seconded by a commissioner, and was defeated just within the past month.
Maybe we really want to reach.
Go look, you got a phone, go Google it.
Respectful listening, guys, both of you.
Listen, I don't care if you're in kindergarten or anywhere, we gotta stick to the rules.
Let the BSO talk.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Christian DeDuani, and I have the privilege of serving as your regional manager. I really am hesitant to ask for the mic because my intent is not to come across as one who can influence or hijack the meeting. So if it's inappropriate for me to speak, if the city feels that, if you feel that, then please let me know, and I'm happy to surrender the mic. But I do want to encourage, I think communication is important in any relationship. And oftentimes, and we've all experienced this, that when misinformation gets out, it can sometimes lead to tensions in relationships. And all I would love to do is ask for a forum where I can actually speak and provide information. I requested, just to be transparent, we talk about accountability and transparency, I requested on numerous occasions for a public forum where I can engage with the citizens. I'm a longtime resident of Broward County, born and raised in this county. I traverse in and out of Deerfield Beach every week. I've devoted the last almost 2 decades to teaching future leaders in this city at a college in Deerfield Beach. I'm very invested in this community. I'm also very invested in this relationship that's been long-standing for 35 years. I think that this city has prospered for a lot of reasons, but certainly because of the law enforcement and fire personnel that serve you and your families. There's misinformation in regards to the contract. The contract has a cap. In the beginning, the sheriff had discussed possibly going to a no-cap contract. The colonels met with the sheriff and the sheriff agreed that for our municipal partners, forecasting their budgets is important. Ensuring that property taxes remain at a viable level are important. So caps were put back into the contract. The first year and the second year of the contract, what was requested is that the cap that was currently in place for 6 months, we're talking about 6 months, October 1, 2025 to March 31st, 2026, 6 months, we're requesting a long-standing relationship with the city to please waive that cap like a change order in any other contract that the city runs with a vendor. Change orders are not uncommon, and they are approved by cities throughout the county on a regular basis if they're warranted and justified. Earlier this year, before the consideration letter was provided, we provided objective data by a company, much like this gentleman, who comes in, no dog in the fight, no hunting dog, trailing down, not trying to influence or sway with a presentation. And they provided information to us that showed that your first responders were underpaid 21% on average, by and large, in comparison to other municipalities in this county and across the state that were similar in style and size to the Broward Sheriff's Office. So the question is, should your first responders be underpaid 21%?
No.
Do they need to be the top paid in the nation? No, no one's asking that. But we're asking for recruitment and retention would be competitive. When we are, right now, let's just use the deputy sheriff, $64,000 starting pay. And let's say plantation. Right now, if you look on their website, they have a hiring bonus for officers, and their starting pay is $78,000, topping out at almost $130,000. We cannot compete with that. You rely on us to provide you a service. If we provide a service, we need to have qualified men and women in uniforms provide that service. If we cannot recruit and retain, we cannot provide that service. What we can provide you is a vacancy credit. But you know what? I've never seen a vacancy credit keep you safe when you call 911, put the fire out, make an arrest, whatever it may be. What we're asking for is for the city to work with us on compensating the first responders just so they can be competitive so we can recruit and retain. The contract for year 3, year 4, and year 5 has a 5% cap. Year 1 and 2, even though it's been said multiple times that there's no cap, there is a cap because the salary numbers, percentages were provided to the city manager in April this year. for year 1 and year 2, meaning that the city could forecast what the cost would be. There's been long-standing that there are certain items outside the cap that we do not control, like pension costs, workers' comp, rates that we do not control, the state or the county controls. So to use those as saying no cap, well, that's historically always the way it's been because we do not control those costs. So, as regards to this relationship, I would just hope that the city would partner with us and give us a forum. We understand that there's concerns. We're willing to listen to those concerns. But we're coming to the table and no one's wanted to speak. I've been given 3 minutes at a public meeting because I signed up to speak. I cannot speak. I've asked to speak. I'm not given an opportunity to speak. City's here, and I love each and every one of you, but that's the truth. This city, if you look back a couple weeks, Mr. Cummings talking about contract, you look at your vendor contract regarding building permitting, how long did the city discuss with the vendors in relation to that contract? Anybody was at the meeting?
4 hours.
I'm getting 3 minutes. 3 minutes and the buzzer goes off and I have to stop speaking. We're talking about a $75 million contract, 296 positions to keep this community safe. I'm given 3 minutes. I'm begging for an opportunity to come to Century Village. I've asked multiple times to come to Century Village. I've asked for a forum in Century Village to communicate to these residents. The door is always closed on me. I've asked for meetings with the city. The door is always closed on me.
It's not major, we can
So,
do something.
and I do appreciate you, and Mr. Cummings, you know I have a lot of respect for you, but you know that my words are true. You know that I've never lied to you.
You have not.
That $75 million research development training center, I've explained that to you. That cost is not borne by the city. The complex nature of the BSO budget, many people do not understand. That's a regional service, and that is from a capital fund. Those funds were provided for capital dollars and projects that the city, the county was responsible to fund, not the city. Florida State Statute, this gentleman can verify this, Florida State Statute Chapter 30, read it. It actually controls the way the sheriff's budget is managed. We cannot hold a reserve fund, meaning at the end of the fiscal year, we cannot keep tax dollars and roll them over to the next year in the same way that, let's say, a city can. We actually have to return those county dollars back to the county. So to say that we used money from a contract this year to try to pay for something 2 years ago is categorically false and it's statutorily impossible. I just want the forum. This is Century Village right here. I'm asking you, go to your board. I've been asking for months for an opportunity to come speak with you, and I have not been given an opportunity to. I really, truly appreciate him giving me this opportunity. I have the utmost respect for the city, for the staff, for every one of the residents. I understand this is your decision, but to make a decision, you need all the information. Help me give you that information. Thank you.
If you all have any questions for the mayor, he has assured me that he has business cards in his vehicle. And if you want to get a business card from him to reach out, is that possible?
I'll give you my personal cell phone number. I have no problem. Okay.
So he'll be around after.
There's a commissioner here for Central Village sitting right there, Danielson, so you might arrange something with him.
If I may just say, Commissioner Shinetsky, since the beginning, has been the utmost professional with me. A line of communication with him has been he has been phenomenal. I have the utmost respect for him, and I don't want this to be a reflection because he honestly has been very engaging and just wanting facts, and I appreciate you for that.
So, you know, our commitment to the city, and I think one of the reasons why we were hired is we're going to give you facts. I don't know the politics. I'm not here to play politics, and I, quite frankly, whatever's happened in the past is not going to affect the report that we do. We're going to be doing, as we alluded to, a transparent financial analysis. We're going to be doing some detailed transition planning, and we're going to focus in on fiscal responsibility. At the end of the day, we will present a report to the city. It is up to you all and your administration and your elected officials to decide what you all are going to do. Thank you all for coming. Yes, sir.
I kind of three questions. One, if we bring everything in-house, do we have to provide health insurance for
Sure.
police and fire?
Yes.
Would it be different than the regular, what's the city?
I don't
provides?
know.
Okay. Well, I mean, from your experience, that's what
And
I'm
you're
asking.
also gonna have to have a pension plan too.
Okay, that's what.
But the craft employees don't have
The
a-
lady asked a question, young
For the city.
lady, regarding if by chance we get sued underneath the current contract, is it under the BSO, would it be underneath the city in that case?
Only outside my lane.
That's important.
Yes.
That's a very good question. That's a very good question, not to be mad, to you. What's your cost?
And that is an all-inclusive cost.
We have
I don't have any change orders.
Hi, thank you. I just want to say, 5 years ago, when the contract was done, did we know we were going to have the inflation that we have today? So,
That's a great question.
thank you. And so, the fact that BSO couldn't get together with the city manager to discuss raising it a little bit, maybe not all BSO wanted, but to make it to a point that it would be okay for BSO.
Right.
And I just want to say one other thing quick, is that Sen Club in Century Village is raising their coupon, Master Management in Century Village is raising their coupon. Everybody's asking for a little bit more money.
Well, I
And
just,
I'm not even financial, but I get it.
I will just tell you that
Thank you.
When we do cost estimates on projects, I typically work with a company called STO, which is a national construction firm. They have individual construction firms, like in Florida, it's Ajax Construction, and we do very detailed costs. The cost estimate that I just gave the Lady Lake Police Department, I also ran an actuary table that says if you don't do anything this year, next year, here's what it's gonna, the cost is going up between 4% and 6% a year. Everywhere I go in this country, there are cranes. And you know what that means?
What?
They're cranes.
Cranes?
That means there's construction.
Okay.
So the cost of gypsum board, the cost of concrete, steel, metal, wood, irrigation, piping, everything has gone up exponentially. I've never seen costs go up like this except for maybe the early 1980s and sometimes in the 90s, but it is crazy what is going on right now. And I'm not gonna opine about what the costs were for a training facility because I don't know that project. But I can tell you that if I were to give you a cost estimate for a building today, it's not gonna be the same cost 6 months from now. So, you do the best you can, and our costs, just for Lady Lake, was like 8 pages, line item. I mean, I told them how much the sod was gonna cost, how much the lighting was gonna cost. And I told them very explicitly, these costs are only good for like the next 90 days. Beyond that, it's gonna go up. And people costs go up. The other thing that we're gonna be looking at that you all didn't even touch on, and we didn't have really a chance to touch on,